Because some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Bucket hour, bucket shy, bucket hour, bucket shy, bucket hour, bucket shy. Call Loy Meow, Bashim, Yao Shai, Bashim Recall Kadash. The born the city apostles and elders which are a great millstone. Peace and blessing to the sincere arguing, pushing the truth and sincerity. And those who pick the videos throughout the week to feed the sheep. This McCall from the Trump and the VA camp. Get right into it. So, when I first heard about this, I was like, I thought it was stupid. I didn't really pay no attention to it. But then I seen an article and then I started thinking about it. Like, all right, it makes sense now. But I'm gonna play it and get into it.
We are watching it very closely, and if something bad happens, it's going to be very painful for the other side.
You have uncovered intelligence that there is a sneak attack being planned against American troops, American assets in Iraq. Are we talking about Kataib Hezbollah again?
But we just have information that they were planning something, and it's very good information. It was led by Iran, not necessarily Iran, but by groups supported by Iran, but that to me is Iran. And we're just saying, don't do it. Don't do it. It would be a very bad thing for them if they did it.
Last time they did do it in early March at Camp Taji, there was a response from the military against Kataib Hezbollah and Kataib Hezbollah alone.
Well, that was a very big response. You know, we knocked out a lot. They hit one site, we hit 5 big ones and ammunition sites. You saw what happened, and I won't say how many people were killed, but some bad people were killed, and a lot of them. That was a big response. But this response will be bigger if they do something. We are watching it very closely, and if something bad happens, it's going to be very painful for the other side.
Have you been in touch with the Iraqi government about this?
They know about it, yeah. When I can explain to people, just don't do it. You know, it's going to be bad if you do. It's going to be really bad. And they don't need to do it. They have enough problems. Iran has enough problems without doing that. But we've been pulling back very substantially over the last year in Iraq. And so, you know, that's the way it
You
is.
said before you don't want to give the enemy, whoever that is in this case, a heads up. Do you feel like maybe you did?
No, I'm just giving them a warning. It's not a heads up. I'm giving them a warning. There's a big difference. I'm saying if you do anything to hurt our troops, they're gonna pay a price. Now they did last time. You know, as per the question, they did last time. We didn't make a big deal out of it, but we hit very, very hard 5 massive, major ammunition sites, and a lot of people went with it. A lot of bad people, a lot of enemy went with it. And we didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but they paid a big price. They'll pay a much bigger price this time if they do anything.
So this is COVID-19 depression. It says Trump needs a war. So all of a sudden, the economy's falling, this, that, and the third, and now people are magically plotting to attack America, right? It says it is seriously astounding how fast the economy is crumbling. No infusion of funny money will save the American people from the historical severe depression now evolving. That funny money is talking about the stimulus package, where they're going to be giving out checks for people to basically uh pump things back into the basically into the money, into the economy by spending. It says state and federal government are becoming more authoritarian in response to serious influenza. It says critical data on the transmission of the disease is absent, muddled, contradictory, and corporate media feeds a frenzy of fear and propaganda based on conflicting, revised, and often speculative numbers. Critical supply lines foolishly based on the globalist profit maximizing concept of just in time are now breaking down. How long do you suppose unemployment service industries and gig economy workers will tolerate a serious shortage of food and other essentials before the looting stores like the poor and hungry of Palmero? How long before the armed citizens begin taking what they need and the military is called in to restore order and confiscate weapons like they did during Katrina? So they're basically saying this already happened before. How long until it happens again? Which the scriptures go into that happening already. See, 2nd Esdras 15, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they're going to have weapons. It says a man shall... I'm going to go jump down to... Here it is, 19. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. That's their weapons. Whatever weapon they want to use. Crowbar, bat, knives, actual swords, hammers, brass knuckles, grenades, whatever. It says, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And we know this is going to come, okay? Now, right now they got unemployment. Apparently everybody's getting it. Well, I guess it all depends on if you were working or this, that, and the third, whatever. But it's only a matter of time before, because they're not going to keep pumping that out, okay? There's going to be a limit to all this. And eventually Jake is going to run out of money. And, Jake going to do what Jake do best, rob and steal. And they're going to be breaking into houses in the hood, but niggas ain't going to have nothing in the hood. So what are they going to have to resort to? Go down to the Edomites neighborhoods, the heathen neighborhoods. Start taking what they got. And it says, see, at the end, it says, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So for the lack of food and all the poverty, Jakes are going to be running into the houses, killing and stealing. It says, how long before armed citizens begin taking what they need and the military is called in to restore order? And America's already prepping for that. Okay, that's why they got military set up in all the worst cities. Okay, they already got that set up. It says, into the military is called and to restore order and confiscate weapons like they did during Katrina. We know ultimately this is what they want to do. They want to take all the weapons. It says, and he will break loose from Baltimore to Seattle, and the government may impose martial law. It can be argued we are already under a self-formed martial law, which we are under a self-formed martial law. That's why they got curfews. And if you're out at a certain time, you get fines. If your group is too big outside, you get fines. Okay. If you don't got a legitimate reason for being outside, you'll get a fine or jail. It says, It says medical law, half of the U.S. confined to our homes, the equivalent to house arrest, scared to death of a virus they now say can spread by merely opening of one's mouth and speaking, and thus allowing viral-laden breath to drift in the air. I don't believe the state will be able to meet the needs of a third or more of an unemployment workforce. That's what it's just saying. There's no way they're going to continually be able to do that. I think it said what? I think it was 100 million or 200 million unemployment people applied. They're not going to be able to constantly give this bread every single week to everybody. It's not going to be able to stand. It says angry, desperate, and eventually violent as a dystopian nightmare spreads across the land. What's that? Dystopian, relating to or denoting an imagined state or society where there is great suffering or injustice. It says Congress and Trump's one-time I'm gonna say stimulus check will certainly not satisfy the unemployment for long. In many cases, that's not even a month's rent. Millions of Americans stood by and watched as the Federal Reserve dished out $1.5 trillion to the banks and financial elites. It says Mark Twain said something about history rhythming. It looks like a big fat sonnet is about to unfold and knock us flat. Historians argue whether FDR, Federal Reserve, did or did not secretly agree with Churchill to get the U.S. involved in a war in Europe and thus put an end to the stubborn depression. It did, and the military industrial machines returned prosperity to depression and war-weary Americans while building a sprawling national security structure behind the scenes to face an exaggerated enemy, which is literally going on right now. I believe it's exaggerated. A critically flawed Soviet Union and a virus of Lenin's version of communism. While we were obsessed with life and death and the coronavirus, the Trump administration is moving to reignite the war in Iraq. The video I just played. It says a war that has its final objective, the destruction of Iran. President Trump warned Wednesday that Iran was planning a sneak attack on U.S. troops. So we just brought that out on the video. It says it was not immediately clear what intelligence Trump had obtained to prompt him to use his tweet on Wednesday. During a subsequent press conference, he indicated that the U.S. likely target would be Kataib Hezbollah, saying the U.S. had very good information on a group planning an attack. He added it was led by Iran, not necessarily Iran, but the groups which we just read. What you seen in the video. It says, considering Trump has zero reluctance to murder Solomon in high-tech mob boss fashion, it is entirely possible he will go after Iran's Expeditionary Quds Force commander Esmail Ghani. He is scheduled for a meeting in Baghdad this week. Ghani is hoping to unite Shia factions, and the visit is seen as a test of whether he can match the famed influence of Soleimani. So, as you can see, Trump and America and the elites, they're painting a picture, starting of the war, get some money. Their typical MO. Okay? Typical MO. It says Oliver. It says Oliver North now handsomely compensated as a Patriot celebrity in the early 1980s under a compromise. Reagan helped out put in motion a plan to round up and intern millions of troublemakers, most listed on the main core database established by FEMA under National Security Directive and National Security Decision Directive. Main core is now headed by the NSA, FBI, and CIA, and more than likely the National Security State Cooperative Public-Private Partners. A classic example of Mussolini Fascism corporatism. It says the severity of a depression and the reaction by the state will result in the final and complete destruction of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. This will be a little concern to the folks facing poverty, eviction, homelessness, and disease, mental illness, alcohol, drug addiction, which is all garbage. Once the Bill of Rights goes down, we already know who they're coming for, the men of the Lord. Everything right now is just a power move to get more power, get everything under control so they can focus on coming at the men of the Lord. Because the men of the Lord is their biggest threat. Okay, this is why everything they do is just, everything is building up to coming at the men of the Lord. The men of the Lord is going to be a vital part in bringing his kingdom down. This is why they want to stop this truth. This is why they never wanted the truth to get out there that the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans are the Israelites. This is why they paid so much money to stop this. This is why they still continue to pay money to stop it, to destroy our people. Drugs in our neighborhoods, gangs, making us hate each other, the Willie Lynch letter, so on and so forth. But, so it won't be surprising if Trump pop off one of these wars, which is going to be prophecy to World War III, is going to happen during Jacob's trouble anyway. Okay, so, and as a matter of fact, I was reading an article earlier where Putin was talking about, where they were saying Putin was making moves behind America's backs, trying to unite all the nations to make a new money system. But I'm going to probably bring that out later on. But with that, I'm going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rekal Kadash, Adawan Ratazat Thum, Tamayim, Akin Wa, Akwafim, Yakal, Shalom.